Alright. I know, let's not jump right to the banner. What do we got? Maybe we are jumping right to the banner. Balance change Barrett. Machinist 5 and Machinist job free added. I think that we've already got that. Have we already got that? I remember taking a look at Barrett. It's not level 99. Means it's gonna be a bitch to find. Why ever would Barrett not be level 99? Yeah, Barrett already has Machinist 5, so we're not even getting that buff. We've already got it. Maybe Legend Spheres, Barrett. Support! Great, he gets 9% support damage. Fan-friggin-tastic. It's the worst Legend Sphere damage in the game. Katesith, White Heal, 9%. That's terrible. But I suppose what else is he gonna get, right? Yeah, what else could they give him that would even make an impact? Katesith is just a really limited character. Maybe White Heal if... Yeah, no, that's fine. Actually, White Heals is okay for him. I guess I forgot his LM2 is a medium chance to cast Minor Medica when using Dancer abilities. I would prefer that that was Bard. Would prefer that that was Bard. Not like we're going to be Legend Diving Katesith anyway. See, look at this. I mean, Barrett, medium chance to chase Machinist abilities with Gatling Gun. 7 single target fire non-elemental. Machinist abilities. Support 9%. I just wonder at some of the decisions they make sometimes. The thing is, you are going to be using Machinist abilities with him. You are not going to be using support abilities. Okay, so the banners, and this is what everyone wants to see anyway. 4 6 stars. We have Sephiroth ASB, Vincent Chain, Sephiroth USB 2, and Cloud USB 1. So first up is Sephiroth's ASB is a dark damage katana, which we all very well know is quite awesome, especially because this one's a 6 star. Just because this exists doesn't mean that Sephiroth's BSB 2, the venerable dark damage katana, still isn't good, but 10 single target and 1 overflow. You know, I'd prefer he got. Obviously, we prefer he got one of the 3 hit, but this is actually pretty good on him. If you decide to run your entire offense through Sephiroth and you have the tools to do it, there is a pretty real chance that this is going to be able to break the 300,000 damage cap that a 3 single target ASB would not be able to. So that's fine. It's fine. It's good. Fantastic. So that's a really just a good start on the banner. Vincent's Chain, another good start. The other magical fire chain holder is Creel, who is also one of the best fire mages in the entire game. So it's not like it's necessary that you have Vincent's chain for fire element. It is probably overall better. It's not like the Riku situation, where Riku just kind of stinks. Vincent is not only a much better character as far as the soul breaks are concerned. They're more focused on dealing fire damage, but he's also a hybrid, and he could be your physical fire chain holder. Just pair him up with someone like Onion Knight with physical USB, and Vincent's actually just a viable physical chain holder. But with someone as good as Creel, Creel is kind of like Titus in that she has the full package when it comes to dealing magical fire damage. So if you have a developed Creel, like her fire LMR, her chain, her USB, or I think her chain or BSB2 and her LMR would be a pretty damn good combination too. I wouldn't make this a high priority to go out and get for a magical fire chain. Yeah, Vincent does have a great dive. He's a fantastic character. So this is just great all around, but not like a huge priority for people that have a developed Creel. Next up we have Sephiroth's USB 2, which is kind of crazy. It's 15 single target ranged. It's kind of weird. It doesn't have any ranged weapons, so I'm not sure where the ranged ever comes into play. Because even if this is ranged, he's going to be using 5-star darkness abilities, which are not ranged. So he's always going to be in the front row. So whatever. Endark, of course, self-critical 50%, useful, and X-Mode Legendary Soldier. X-Mode Legendary Soldier is self-overflow dark physical damage. We've seen this before. It only exists in one place elsewhere in the entire game, and will probably still stay that way. And that would be on Cloud's USB 1. Except this is completely based on dark damage. It's not all damage like Cloud's. And gain Quick Cast 1 after using dark abilities. So he gets Endark, Overflow Dark, Quick Cycle Dark, and that's pretty powerful, and it's okay by itself. There's no real damage boosts. Never mind, that's not even true. He gets Endark and critical 50%, so there's a lot of damage boosts. But he can break the damage cap with all dark attacks now. So how do we benefit from that with Sephiroth? Well, first thing that comes to mind is Endark stacking. Unfortunately, Sephiroth cannot Endark stack with a Glint. Fortunately, Sephiroth can Endark stack though, and that's with his USB 1. If you have both Sephiroth's USB 1 and USB 2, P becomes a character where you don't need anybody else on the team dealing damage. He's it. That's it. Sephiroth could, with his LMR, start out with Endark, cast his USB 1 to give himself Endark stack, which would put him at 2 stacks of Endark, and then cast his USB 2, USB 1 first, then USB 2, for the third Endark stack, and then he could just start using Crimson Cross, and probably deal a ridiculous amount of damage every single turn. Especially if you have some high precise strikes on the team. Yeah, of course, chain. I'm assuming that the chain is going to exist. So let's see if you got precise strikes for 12% extra. So he's doing a 62% chance to crit. Wow. He would just be doing such ridiculous amounts of damage with just Crimson Cross. It would be scary. It would be pretty scary. And how could we add to that? I don't think I would. I don't think there's anything that's really worth adding to that. Sephiroth's glint is nice, but I think it's kind of more flavor than anything. The problem here is it uses 250 soul break points, but deals no damage. It does add quick cast, but holy shit, how much quick cast does a man need? Sephiroth gets quick cast cycle on his legendary soldier from his USB 2, and he has a high quick cast trance. He's already almost going to be casting at instant speeds, so this is all just... It's a waste, in my opinion. I think it's just for funsies, if you want to run Sephiroth as a solo character, where he could just heal himself infinitely with a dark damage absorb. But that's with his most ideal scenario. This glint is still going to be useful because Sephiroth has so many different soul breaks. If you don't have both his USB 1 and USB 2, then maybe you do use his glint. You find a way to throw it in there, because it does make sure that he basically never dies. Anyway, that's Sephiroth's USB 2. An awesome pull. An awesome pull. This is going to be able to accomplish what no one else in the game can do, and that's what is going to make it, even though we don't have access to a 5-star Holy Magicite at the moment, this is something that I would not mind having in the bank. Remember when we got Cloud USB 1? That was a very, very long time ago. That was before 3-star Magicites. We're now very far into 4-star Magicites, and it's still very useful for 2 Magicite dungeons against both Siren and Midgard Zormer. The reason for that is because the ability to break the damage cap is something that they can't power creep that out, because if they power creep that out, that advances the power creep in the game so extremely that so many things in the game become obsolete. They can't outbalance this anymore. And that's why picking this up now will be good for 5-star Magicite, and probably for whatever comes after 5-star Magicite. It's going to be that powerful. And I was just talking about Cloud's USB 1. I know a lot of people have it, but if you don't, it's still a very useful thing to pick up. And honestly, it's something that I'm looking forward to possibly getting with my single pull that I'm throwing at this banner. So that's a really good 5-star section. I'll talk a little bit more about what it accomplishes after I'm done talking about the banner itself. Alright, we have 2 glints. I talked about Sephiroth's. It's actually kind of uninspiring, I guess. 0 cast time, quick cast, and small dark damage absorb. It's, I think, by itself, kind of cool. If you don't have any soul breaks for him, or if you have, like, his Endark and his BSB, it's kind of cool. I don't know. Obviously, you want to use it with Crimson Cross. And that's the nice part, is that Crimson Cross has a very high multiplier, but it comes with a price where, it takes away 25% of your health every time you use it. But with this, who cares? He's going to full heal himself. So I think it's just good by itself. But if you throw his other soul breaks into the equation, it just kind of gets pushed out of the picture. It's after self-damage. Yes, I believe many lots. Okay, Cloud Glint, 0 cast time, and wind stack. And 6 single target wind. This is actually really nice. For the same reason that I talked about all the huge Sephiroth stack combo is because Cloud obviously also has access to that with his USB. And the more damage that you can stack on top of him, the better. Stacking is really good on characters that can break the damage cap like this. So Cloud's Glint's actually really good for him. As long as you have his USB 1. The same thing with Sephiroth and having his USB 2. You want the stacking. You don't need the stacking, but it's kind of nice. It allows you to run the character in a different way, which is... What do I call it? The monolith? They become the single character, and they attack so quickly, with all of their buffs, and you can entrust to them with, cheap disposable characters like Shulk and Tyro. Tyro can use his wall and then be an entruster, so you can just throw so many soul break points into one character, they can do so much damage. And that's what something like this is for. I think this is much more valuable than Sephiroth's Glint, for sure. Okay, next up, Burst Soul Break section is actually a really good Burst Soul Break section. I think only 2 of these really stick out to me, and that'd be Vincent's BSB2, which is great by itself. 8 single target fire non-elemental hybrid. That's really cool. The fact that it's a hybrid, and it's a fire radiant shield. So on either physical or magical teams, this is going to be a very high DPS soul break. As long as you have a chain. And that's just by itself. Now consider that he's also a chain holder. And now we've really ascended, because you can entrust Vincent and he can be a gigantic DPS engine for physical and magical all by himself. Because of the combination of the chain and the fire elemental radiant shield. So that's really a nice soul break. Next up, Angeal's BSB is sneaky good. I know Angel is kind of a butt end of a lot of jokes, but he's actually not that bad. But only in the Torment, and honestly, that's kind of important because the Torment is the highest difficulty of content that we have access to at the moment. Well, think about how you would use Angel. The Torment requires you to dispel. So what does that force you to do? It forces you to bring either someone with Knight 4 or White Magic 3. The fight does want you to have at least Shelga, but probably Shelga and Protectka. So that takes away some of your ability slots for people with White Magic 3 right there. So what a lot of people do in the Torment is they bring a healer, and they also bring another character that can cover Dispelling, and possibly also using Protectka or Shelga. What characters in the realm can do that? I believe, off the top of my head, Angeal, Rufus, and Cait Sith. Angeal actually makes a really decent character for this because of the soul break. Critical 50% is pretty good for what? Zack's Chain. Zack's Chain has a critical damage plus 50% on it. So being able to provide a crit rate buff to the party is actually kind of good. It also deals wind magic on entry for adding to the chain. It's meant, exactly, many lots. It's meant to to pair with Zack's Chain. And Zack's Chain is actually a pretty prominent use on a lot of the Torment teams because of Cloud. It's because of Cloud. So the team that you would probably bring would be Zack, Angeal, and Cloud. The reason why Cloud is so good in the Torment is because it's a Genova Absolute, and she's got 2 tentacles that respawn. And the crazy thing about Cloud is it sucks that he can't use 6-star Spellblade, but it's not that bad in this situation because the fight can get out of hands if you're unable to kill the tentacles within a certain amount of turns. And what Cloud can do with his USB is Tornado Strike down the tentacles. And this team just kind of works together towards that. where if you can chain, crit rate, and, do all these things, then Cloud can probably take down the tentacles in a single turn. And Genova Absolute itself, the main orb, only deals magic damage. So if you can kill the tentacles in a single turn with Cloud, you don't have to deal with physical damage at all. And this really streamlines your ability to deal damage in the fight. And it's kind of, it's a good strategy for doing or getting a sub 30 in the highest difficulty, the D450 or question marks or whatever. So yes, it's on Angeal. It's probably not something a lot of people are looking forward to because this can be replaced. It's not necessary that you have something like this. You can use Rufus. You can use Kate Sith. But it is still not that bad. It will buff a lot of Torment teams if you have the right stuff. Sephiroth, BSB2, Dark Katana. The only other one in the game, I believe, is this. It's still a good burst. If you don't have Sephiroth's USB2, that makes his Command 1 on his BSB2 pretty valuable. Because the nice part about his USB2 is you no longer have to worry about the 4-hit damage cap with Crimson Cross. See, the problem with Sephiroth is he can't dual cast. So he has no way to increase his damage beyond 40,000 damage a turn. That's kind of sad. But with his BSB, that moves up to 50,000 damage, and it becomes a lot easier to swallow 50,000 damage. Because it's a very high damage command, and Sephiroth does attack extremely quickly, even if he can't dual cast, because of his trance mode LM2. So this becomes one of his other avenues for dealing a lot of damage other than his USB 2. Okay, Sephiroth, or Cloud BSB 2. For those who didn't get his USB 2, this is probably his best form. No, I wouldn't even say it's his best form of M-Wind. That's probably his Glint. Just because it's so much cheaper. It also deals damage. The only thing that you're not getting out of this, even though this only costs 250 less soul break points, is 20%. Yeah, 20% stats from burst mode. That's it. So, I think with the Cloud's USB 2 and his Glint in the game, his BSB 2 has kind of run its course. But if you have neither of those, this is still how you get in Wind, and it's still a nice thing to have. So that's the BSB section. So even though I'm not really that high on Angeal's BSB and Cloud's BSB 2, they're still useful for people. Depending on their situations, and that's why the BSB section isn't that bad. Vincent's BSB is easily the best of the crop because this is valuable in an elemental fight on a USB tier level. In the Torment, I don't know, maybe Kase. I'm gonna find out tomorrow. Because that's what I have. I have his Glint and his USB too. And I probably will end up using that because I think I'm going to have to be forced to use Shulk. What's interesting about me is the Final Fantasy VII Torment may be the first Torment that I am able to defeat. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure. But I have a pretty decent Final Fantasy VII team ready to go, and I want to see what happens. Okay, Legend Materias. We have Vincent's LMR is dual class fire, obviously a good thing. Oh yeah, I'm obviously going to be able to sub 30 the D280, but I have not been able to 100% clear any of the... Yeah, I'm going to attempt to clear the final difficulty. It's gonna be fun. I'm most certainly going to dive Zach, and we'll see where I go from there. Okay, Vincent's LMR is obviously really good. We established Vincent's an excellent character. His ability to dual cast fire, obviously a good thing. Sephiroth Starbell with Endark, very good on Sephiroth personally because he can Endark stack with his USB 1. It sucks that his USB 1 is not on this banner, but what you gonna do? Oh, I absolutely will stream the fight. It may not be when the fight launches, because I'm already kind of running overtime tonight. I'm going to try to get through this a little quick. But anyway, Cloud LMR1, this medium chest self quick cast 1 using wind damage abilities. This is terrible. This is really just terrible. It's a small chance to only grant himself quick cast 1. Honestly, Cloud's LMR1, or sorry, not his LMR1, this is his LMR1, his LM1, which is increased physical damage by, thank you very much. That's the first time anyone's used that, so that's kind of interesting to see that show up on the screen. I wish I had Streamlabs alerts, so, wait. I'll give you a Streamlab alert. If anyone remembers the old days of Twitch. I forgot the name. There we go. Okay, better than his LM2. So yes, if you don't have his LMR2, which happens to also be on this banner, then for using wind abilities, you would use his LM1 for 10% physical damage and his LMR2, or his LMR1, sorry. But the ideal scenario for Cloud when using wind abilities, like Spellblades, like the Torment, would be his LM1 for 10% increased physical damage and his LMR2 for dual cast wind. So there is a case where this is useful, but it's a consolation prize in this most literal form. It's a consolation prize for not getting this. Kingdom Hearts LMR is LMR 3. It wouldn't be considered the LMR 3 for if the Japanese client didn't exist, but it did. So anyway, the Legend of Materia section is pretty decent, even though this exists, and even this is better than his LM2, because his LM2 is just dual cast dual cast combat, and Cloud actually doesn't really use combat anymore. The only thing that he would dual cast with combat would be his Command 1 on his BSB2. Which I don't believe is better than the 5-star Spellblade ability. Generates less soul break points, does less damage, and forces you to use the BSB2. I got the hiccups. All right. Okay, so this banner as a whole, its theme is dark damage and Magicite fire. I don't consider Vincent to be all that great as far as this banner is concerned, in a Torment aspect. I'd want his USB 1. If I had Vincent's USB 1, what is the quick cycle? No, it's just not even a quick cycle. His USB 1 is Oh, no, that's his trance. Sorry, I'm flip-flopping. Is it fire abilities? Please be fire abilities. Have a good night, John. Well, just because they have Trance Legend, or I'm only speaking in terms of the final difficulty. Just having a Trance Legend dive is not good enough. Almost everything available in a realm is going to be good for the first two difficulties. Okay, so it's a quick cycle after using a fire attack. Okay. I've turned around... Well, I haven't turned around. I do believe that Vincent is still pretty good with his USB 1 in the Torment. It's okay. I prefer to have Enliers open anyway, Kaze. So, a nice part about using Vincent in the Torment is, remember, the tentacle issue with yeah, the tentacle issue with the Torment. Well, Vincent dual casts fire abilities, and there is a pretty damn good area effect fire ability in the... Oh, fuck, he can't use it. Never mind. Throw all of that out. I forgot, he doesn't have Summon 6. He only has Summon 4. He can't use Valagramanda. So, no, he's really not that good for the Torment. Sorry. Man, they need to make Vincent a 5-star summoner. If he could dual cast Valagramanda, that would be a very good tool for dealing with the tentacles. Since he can't, doesn't really have the tools to deal with the tentacles. So he's not that good. Fire Sharpshooter. Is there a 6-star area of effect 3-hit Fire Sharpshooter ability I don't know of? Pretty broken? You mean like Terra? I don't think Terra's broken, I just think she's really powerful. So, Vincent has been downgraded. He's not that great for the Torment. So, what do we got here? Sephiroth could be good for the Torment. Just because he does an obscene amount of damage. He does get critical 50% on his USB, so he can take advantage of Zack's chain in that regard. It's not good enough. I guess so. I mean, think about it. You're casting Zack's chain, and you're getting 50% attack and 50% increased crit damage. That's still not a bad use of 500 soul break points. See, the problem with using an external chain other than the Realm Chain and a Torment, is the Realm Chain doesn't take any Soul Break points. You need... The chain really needs to be worth it. And it is, in Cloud's case, because he can absolutely take advantage of the 50% crit damage, and the Wind Chain, and the 50% attack. Sephiroth obviously doesn't benefit from the chain. So I don't know. He's still good. He's still good in the Torment because he can deal a pretty obscene amount of damage with a lot of his soul breaks. But you're still going to want someone that deals with the tentacles, and Sephiroth actually can in a pretty neat way. I'm going to bring up the AI. So you see what I'm talking about. here are the two tentacles. We'll call them, they're calling them Synthesis B and C. The two tentacles are, first turn didn't do anything, but turns 2 through 5 does tentacle, 1.76 cast time, PHY. PHY, very, very important right there. Party members in slots 3, 4, and 5 take 344% physical damage. The other tentacle. Same exact thing, but party members in 1, 2, and 3 take 344% physical damage. Also PHY. What does this mean? Throw Sephiroth in the center. Throw him in slot 3 and have him use Retaliate. You could also do this with Cloud, since Cloud has Samurai access. It's actually kind of better on Cloud because Cloud can overflow on non-dark attacks, and Retaliate attacks aren't dark. But this still means that both Cloud and Sephiroth can be on a team. Say you don't have the Wombo combo with Cloud, where you can't do like million damage tornado strikes to get rid of the tentacles in one turn. Well, what if you said, okay, I'll take a turn of the tentacle hits, because tornado strike combined with a retaliating Sephiroth in the third slot will kill these tentacles. And Dark does not affect Retaliate, no. You could use Demon's Bane or any of the other abilities. I think I'd probably want to use Demon's Bane, because I think it's an area of effect ability as well. Demon's Blood, sorry. 3 group attacks for 3.3 grants Retaliate to the user for 15 seconds. Honestly, it's something that people have used. And it does work. Of course, that means you are taking at least one turn of the tentacles on the other 4 slots. So you will need to use Protectica on that team. But it's still a strategy. It's not the most ideal strategy, but it is one. So Sephiroth is a good Torment character. So we've got a good Torment character. Angeal, maybe a good Torment character. Cloud, good Torment character. Honestly, the banner isn't bad for Torment. It's not like stacked or anything, because you'd prefer Zac Chain. Well, Cloud USB 1 is kind of a pretty key piece on the best Torment teams, because of the ability to overflow the Tornado Strike attacks, because it's only a 2-hitter. But there are a couple holes in the banner, and that is the fact that it's so focused towards Fire Element and Dark Element, neither of which are very important right now. There will be a lot of banners in the future before the next time we have to face off against Fire Vulnerable content or Holy Vulnerable content, which would be the 5-star Magicites. So the element is a little less important, but remember what I said about Sephiroth's USB 2. This is something that it doesn't matter if other things appear in the future. It's good now, and it will be good in the future, because it's not going to get power crept out between now and like 6 months from now, 7, 8 months from now, even when the Holy Magicite is released. It's just not going to happen. And the ASB obviously is always going to be a considerable tool for a dark team. So even though this is dark damage and we don't need dark damage right now, it's still good stuff. But if you want to prioritize like stuff in a chronologically, this banner is not really a priority. Unless it's for the Torment. In which case then this banner can actually be pretty good. But I would not jump at the opportunity to pick up stuff like Vincent's things. Because they have limited usefulness in the Torment. And they will reoccur later. When the Ice Magicite is released will be about the time of this festival. And this festival will be in December. Which has a Banner 4 completely dedicated to fire damage, which has Vincent's USB 2. Doesn't have his chain on it. Could have his chain because Gilgamesh's chain is here. But it's interesting it doesn't have Vincent's chain on it. VVASB, Vincent USB 2, VV Glint, Vincent Glint, Vincent VV LMR 2s. I'm looking at the fire magic. It's not exceptionally strong on fire magic. And I know Vincent Chain doesn't recur in the previous festival either. Maybe it does make Vincent's Chain a lot more valuable than I thought it was. I didn't realize that Vincent's Chain wasn't on this banner. I don't know why I was under the impression that it was. Okay. I'm a little higher on the Vincent things than I was. It does seem like a kind of a weird banner. It looks like things that don't necessarily work right now. They don't. A lot of the Vincent things don't. But Vincent's Chain, Vincent's BSB2 are both going to be good for a long time and don't recur between now and the 5-star ice. Sephiroth is not good now, or Sephiroth stuff is not good now for the Dark Element, but will be good in the future, assuredly. Okay, I'm fine. I really do like this banner. Makes me feel better about that decision to throw 50 Mithril at it. Okay, next up. Banner 2. Oh, man, this banner's been made fun of, and for pretty decent reason. We have Barrett's USB. I did go over how Barrett's kind of crap. Because the character himself doesn't really accomplish much. His USB is 15 single target fire wind. At least it does wind damage, and that's kind of neat. Because Barrett could potentially be a character you bring along with Cloud and Zack to pump up a chain and grant party instant cast to help out Cloud and Zack and reduce defense and resistance. It's just really... He's not going to do a lot of damage by himself. He's really just there to pump up other characters, and thank God there's definitely better ways to do it. Because if you're doing that strategy, Barrett has no way to deal wind damage other than this, to my knowledge. He's got Sharpshooter, he's got Machinist, no wind in either of those. So if you were using the Zack chain strat, then Barrett would only be able to... Basically, he'd be a Life Siphon bot. Where you'd be providing party instant casts and just life siphoning else otherwise. It's kind of depressing. And I feel like in a fight that's so starved for slots, that's kind of a waste. This is like D280 stuff, but not highest difficulty stuff. Next up, we have Kate Sith's USB is Party Protect Shell Haste. Kinda neat. Kinda neat. Because it's a slot saver, and remember what I said about using Dispel and protecting Shell? Slot saver in this tournament is actually kind of useful, and the haste goes together well with Zack's chain. The area of effect full breakdown is pretty worthless. You're really just be using it for this, and the fact that Kate Sith himself can dispel with his White Magic 4. It's about it. It's about it. This is also on the same tier as Barrett. Honestly, both of these USBs, I would rather just have Angeal's BSB, if I'm being perfectly honest. For that third junk slot. Aerith's USB 2, this, I mean, goes from rags to riches. This is basically the most important soul break in the entire realm. And this is the joke of the banner, because the banner sucks for the most part, and Aerith's USB 2 gets thrown onto it, forcing people to either go after this here or probably not have much of a shot doing a sub 30 of the highest difficulty. Yeah, Torment Genova does dispel you. That's why you need to save slots. Yeah. So, kinda neat. Yuffie's USB. Because of the way those tentacles work, is 3 turns of just slapping people for physical damage, and keeping Yuffie active is easy-ish with her ability to dual cast and her LMR, which is also on this banner, I believe. Yeah. But the nice thing is, remember what I said about Genova? Genova only uses magical attacks. So if you are able to destroy the tentacles, you actually never take physical damage, and Yuffie can just go infinite. So Yuffie can be run in, well, 3 different ways. 1, you destroy the tentacles immediately, and she never has to worry about getting her physical blinks removed. 2, you get your physical blinks removed, but you use the physical blink generator ability instead to trigger high chases, and that's where you get your damage from. And while the tentacles are dead, I think they're dead for 5 turns. She obviously can keep her stacks active. 3, you just don't use Yuffie. But don't think just because the tentacles exist in this fight that Yuffie with her USB or any other form is just a bad character, because that's not really the way Yuffie works. Just because a boss does physical damage doesn't mean physical blink characters suck. It means she's practically invulnerable. Alright, Burst Soul Break section. We got 5 bursts on this banner. First one is absolute garbage. It's Barrett's Burst Soul Break. Second, Kate Sith, critical 50%. We talked about Angeal, and that critical 50% is kind of useful. And Kate Sith, the character, is useful in the fight, with the ability to use White Magic 4. This is not a bad burst. It's not a bad burst in the fight. I kind of like it. Aerith, BSB 2. Minor Dark Resistance. Does the... I would imagine the boss does dark attacks, because most torments do. of course, this boss doesn't. No dark attacks. Awesome. Fantastic. Alright, so Aerith's BSB2 sucks. It's just a Kirog Medica, and it doesn't even have a Medica command, to my knowledge. Yeah, it's got a single target Kiraja, but no Medica command. Ooh, she does have... Maybe it's not that bad. I remember Aerith has her LM2, which gives her a chance to Medica whenever she uses a white magic ability. Maybe not as bad as I thought. And the ability to zero cast time Kiraja. I mean, she gets a bunch of opportunities to Medica. Okay, so not that bad. Even if this is completely useless in the fight. Red 13's BSB. How good are you? The attack and magic plus 30% isn't bad, but the burst command's useless, and the character himself can't really do much of anything. At least not until he gets his buffs in the next festival. You know, I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, so this is not that valuable. Sid BSB. 10 single target, win non-elemental, and win burst mode. It's actually pretty good. Honestly. Sid, along with Ash, have a very unique... Well, I guess not unique since there's two of them, but very special burst soul breaks. That is not how you search. You'd obviously prefer to have Sid's USB, but his BSB is not bad. It's kind of weird. The fact that it has an 8.0 multiplier, even though it's an N-win burst, it's not supposed to. Like, things are not supposed to do that. Look at Cloud's Burst Soul Break 2, for instance. It's basically the same exact entry, but it's a 6.64, so it loses a lot of damage compared to Sid's. And Sid is a wind damage character. It deals 10 hits, which means, remember, if you're using the Zack and Cloud strategy, you're using the wind chain. So Sid's actually a pretty high damage third character on the party. His burst could probably be present on a sub 30 of the highest difficulty. Say you use Cloud, Zack, Sid, Kate Sith, and Aerith. That's a thing, and it would probably work. But still, you'd obviously prefer to have his USB, because Sid's USB is awesome. So the burst isn't that bad. It's not that bad. Next up, Barrett, medium physical up when using gun arms. Oh, great. Yeah, I don't think there's any situation in which I really care about this. Even if I'm using a gun arm on him, he doesn't do damage. He doesn't deal damage. So dealing more than bad damage is just slightly less than bad damage. Or slightly more than bad damage. Okay, so Star Battle Quick Cast 3, that's awesome. That's what makes him probably the best character. For being that off White Magic 4 character. Is this LMR. That's awesome. Low chance to double cast white magic abilities on the only white mage in the realm. You please. Please. Yuffie, medium chance to grant blink 1 when using ninja abilities. obviously really good for reasons I went into on our USB 2. And this isn't just for torment purposes. The physical fire torment actually does a lot of physical attacks as well. So if you want to use Yuffie in that fight, you're probably going to have to run her as a physical blink generator type. So this is going to be a useful thing for 5-star Magicite as well. So that's a good LMR. Sid, medium jump damage up and using spears. If only Kayn got this. Kayn has medium Dragoon damage up, which sucks because Dragoon damage doesn't apply to soul breaks. Jump damage does, because Dragoon soul breaks are almost all jumps. And Sid's soul breaks, as we just took a look at, jump attacks on his BSB, jump attacks on his USB. So increasing basically all of his damage up just by using spears. And this obviously is a hell of a lot better than gun arms, because gun arms don't have elemental properties, but I can find a lot of wind spears in the game. Yeah, I don't really care, Dragon, because that's Mateus. And finding fire characters is kind of easy. So I only really care about Barret in terms of Torment. Mateus is a Magicite, so I just don't care. It would be so easy to replace him with another fire character. Okay, so this banner is kind of weird and honestly not as bad as you think. It does scream bad. It screamed bad when it first came out, but that's because we didn't really have a deep breakdown of the AI that occurs in the fight and basically what's required, what abilities you need to bring. And as it turns out, Katesith's USB is not bad for the fight. Even if it does have an area effect full breakdown, which is just not good. It's not good. Breaks are 30% effective, so a full breakdown is a 40% break, so a 12% break is not that great. It does something, at least, but you're really looking to use this for this. And the ability to have Protect, Shell, and Haste. An external user Protect, Shell, and Haste. So Aerith can do more healer things. This is one of the most potent Torment tools in the entire realm. Yuffie's USB 2 is extremely good, as we all know. Not one of the best tools in the Torment, but still at least something that can accomplish damage. Especially on the right teams. If those teams that are able to kill those tentacles before they're able to start whipping the party, Yuffie's going to shine. Anyone who's used Yuffie's USB 2 knows that when she's able to spam her washing machine, it's kind of gross. And that is a fight where I would say, okay, no Zac Chain in this fight. I'll have Pumpy Yuff the Chain for 22 a turn. The BSB section is kind of not that great. This is more D280 stuff. Stuff that could potentially play a role on the highest difficulty, like Sid's Burst. Sid's Burst, I wonder. I mean, the buffs are nice. They attack 30% in the crit, but I guess him being able to... Yeah, I suppose it could work. So you carried Dispel and Shelga as his two abilities. That would allow Aerith to carry Heiska and Curata. And I think that's all you would need. As long as you were able to kill the tentacles before they started whipping the party. Just don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Physical fire, is something that will come. Bartz and Refi are it. Well, that's a lot of it. You don't need 5 physical fire characters to have a strong physical fire team. All you need is 2. And it looks like you got 2 pretty damn good ones. So okay, I think Kitsit's BSB could legitimately be powerful in the fight. I'm gonna say Aerith's BSB 2, probably not. D280. And probably good enough for 50% in the highest difficulty. Yeah, probably is. With the right double casts, and that's all it takes. You only have to achieve anything in the fight once, so you can just keep resetting for the perfect RNG fight. Well, that's fine. Yeah. His USB 1 is good, but it's not like it's that much better, or even better at all than his other tools. So this banner is weird. For all of those out there like me that don't have Aerith's USB 2, how do I feel about this banner? I'm going to have to say no on in every single way for Barrett and his USB. I just don't want it. As far as value is concerned in the game and how things get used, it's just too easy to replace everything that this thing can accomplish. That even if it would be useful when I pull it, it will immediately be power crept out by pulls I make in the future. I have no want for this at all, so that's not a win. K-Sith USB is a win. Aerith USB is a win. Yuffie is a dupe, unfortunately. If Yuffie's USB 2 wasn't a dupe, I would actually be pretty excited about this banner. Barrett USB, absolutely not. K-Sith BSB, okay. Yes. Aerith BSB 2 is a dupe. I wouldn't want it anyway. Red 13 BSB is a dupe. I still wouldn't want it anyway. Sid BSB. I wonder, for my third DPS, would I use Sid with BSB or Yuffie with USB? Does he have an area of effect command? So that would be sneaky useful on a team that wasn't able to kill the tentacles in one tornado strike. No, both commands... Oh, no, that's Sid Final Fantasy IV. 2 group attacks. 3 attacks of exploiting weakness. Okay. The boss spams physicals, sort of. I'm not going to go into that that much again. The boss has 2 tentacles, 2 adds that spam physicals, but the tentacles can be killed before any physicals happen at all. So if you're able to kill the tentacles, then the fight is 0 physicals. What's up, Benny? So I have an area of effect attack. I'm just trying to figure out, is Sid BSB actually useful? Probably not. I just think there's a lot of ways to get rid of it. I'm going to be throwing 50 on this banner, and if I get Sephiroth's BSB 2, I'd probably use that instead. because that also has a group attack. So I'm going to say no, but it's not like I have to make that decision before I pull on Banner 1 anyway, so we'll shelve that. Suck. Extremely good. Dupe. God, man, if I didn't have so many dupes on this banner. Of good things, too. This is not a dupe, and I really do want it. Yeah, I already did say that Sid USB would be very good for the fight, yes. And Sid LMR would be good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't pull on this banner. Hey, Spidey. It stinks. If I didn't have dupes of Aerith's LMR and Yuffie's USB 2, I would be pulling on this banner. Because they're both bad dupes. They're bad dupes, good soul breaks. Stinks. Stinks. So that means I'm basically out of the running for a sub 30 on the Torment. But I might be able to complete it. Alright, what's everyone think about these banners? I think they're kind of weird. I think they're both weird. The first banner is easily the more universally good one. But still might be something that a lot of people want to skip because it's not like it's necessary for Torment or anything. I can't answer that for you, unfortunately. Must pull? Probably not. But whether or not it makes sense for you to pull on it, that's not my call. I do not have Aerith's USB 2. That's exactly why I just went over all of that. And the fact that because I can't get it, since I won't be pulling on this banner, then I will not be able to sub 30. Unless you're talking to somebody else. Well, not might. Cross out might. That's 3 of the most powerful fire mages in the game, Benny. It would be extremely great. Very, very much great.